Good morning, class. My name is Luke, you can call me Lucky, and this is Teaching. And today, I want to talk to you about a framework of English activities that will hopefully give you some insight as to how learning games can be effective in your lessons. And just to be clear about the wording of that, this is not a measure of how effective your games are at teaching English. This is a categorical of how students think about the English they are using in your activities. So I've broken down this framework into two camps of thought. On the right, we have here English-aided activities, and on the left, we have English-contingent activities. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's start with here English-aided activities. English-aided simply means that English is being used to enhance the fun of your activities. Now, what does that look like? So it's better to look at a demo of how an English-aided activity plays out in the classroom. All right, class, let's play tic-tac-toe. For example, I will say a word like tiger. So I choose tiger. Tiger, circle. Now, it's your turn. Please choose a word.
Cat.
Cat. Very good. Cat. Okay. I choose bat. You choose
Dog.
dog. I see. I choose hog. I win. Better luck next time. And finish. Now, tic-tac-toe is a game that basically plays itself. I think it's a pretty universal game. I think it's played probably everywhere in the world, and it's pretty easy to understand the rules just through context alone. We don't need English vocabulary here in the game, and that's kind of what's at the core of this camp of thought here with English-aided games. English is not necessary to play the game. It simply helps, or rather gives students an opportunity to practice the English in a way that they're more familiar with. In this case, it's a game that they're more familiar with. So let's switch gears now and let's take a look at English contingent games. So what is an English contingent game? Well, simply it means that English is contingent or necessary in order for the game to work. What does that mean? Well, let's do the same thing we did over here and let's do an example, a demo of what this game would look like in a lesson. Good morning, class. This is English shiritori. So, for example, I start with apple. Apple ends with E. So the next word starts with E. Apple, E, E. Elephant, T, T, top, P, P. And next word starts with P. Okay. What word starts with P? Hands up. P. Let's do P.
Power.
Power. Very good. I like that. Next word, R. R.
Red.
Red. Very nice. D. Next word, D.
Day.
Day. Excellent. You guys are very good. Why? Why is a challenge? What's why? Maybe tomorrow, today,
Yesterday.
yesterday. Very good. Okay. And finish. So, this is what an English contingent game looks like. It's contingent because in order for the students to participate in the game, they need to at least have some level of English vocabulary understanding. In this case, it's letters. They should be able to understand what letters or how to spell certain words. And don't get me wrong, this is very simple for a native speaker, but this is absolutely an English skill that students need to practice. All right, so let's analyze the pros and cons of each camp of thought, starting with English aided. English aided is good because it offers a much lower bar for entry for students to engage with the English activity and with the learning process. The anxiety is much lower because the students can get by engaging with the activity purely through context alone. They don't need to engage directly with the English, and the hope is that the game will be fun enough that the student can take the mental stride to learn passively the English being presented. Now, having said that, the results of an English-aided activity are going to yield proportionately, which is to say, passively, not a great amount. But it still offers the student an opportunity to engage, and that's important. Don't underestimate the learning anxiety. It is a strong factor in how much engagement you can get out of a lesson. Because conversely, English contingent games offer a much higher bar for entry. Students needing to know correct vocabulary, correct spelling, correct grammar, that is not always an easy task. But it does offer a very strong challenge, a very good learning opportunity for students to engage with the English directly, while having the game be the canvas of which the student can practice. Now, it's important to recognize the fact that neither camp is objectively or completely, totally more correct than the other. It's all situational. English-aided games are great because this offers the best opportunity for students to kind of get their foot in the door with English and feel a little more comfortable with it. We don't want to scare them off. English contingent games offer a lot more direct learning and teachable moments. Having students think consciously about the English that they are using is an important life skill. It's the same skills that people use when they're asking for directions or looking for items in a shop or are in a job interview. These are very important, but if the bar is set too high, then the students won't want to engage. And basically that sums up the framework. So I urge you, the next time you are planning your lessons, think about whether your activities are English aided or English contingent, and think about what effect that has on how the student wants to approach your activities, and think about whether or not this is achieving your goals in terms of teaching. With that, I will see you in the next lesson. Take care.